Hey guys, good afternoon, Mower Medic One. Today I've got a little Briggs & Stratton Intech overhead valve, 6.5 horse engine on the bench. And what the problem is the oil level is way overfilled. So when this thing is just sitting and you have a faulty float valve or needle and seat inside the carburetor, it kind of acts like a float in your toilet, and whenever the level gets to a certain point, it shuts off. Well, if that valve is bad and that needle and seat is not sealing off, that fuel is going to migrate its way up through the carburetor, and it can actually fill up in here where the air horn is. If your intake valve is closed, your intake runner and all that will be full of gas, and then the level will actually come up into here, and that fuel will actually flow right down this breather tube right into the engine. Today we've got a Grasshopper 225K on the bench. It's got the 25 horsepower Kohler engine. Until it's snug, and then back it off a quarter of a turn. That's your adjustment for the slack in your handles. As your wrench, as you can see down there where the bolt is, whenever I move the handle, the bolt or the nut is staying still, and you get the idea. It's the only way to do it, because you can't get a socket on it and you can't get a wrench on it. I'm gonna rant just a little bit here. I don't know what this guy is mowing, but it ain't grass. I just put blades on this, a couple months ago. It may be a little bit longer than that. I normally don't have any issues with this this customer, but look at the bolts. Look at the dog leg bend in these bolts. That's not from normal cutting grass. That's ridiculous. That one's bent into an S shape. I mean, just look at this accelerator fan. These blades are supposed to be almost a 90 degree from where they are. Alrighty guys, we got the Grasshopper going and got some new blades on it, and fixed the handles to where they weren't just all slow. Alrighty guys, today we got a different kind of project on the bench. Alrighty, got that part done, easy peasy. So let's make our way back here to the differential, and let's start removing these 4 nuts. It's got some grease on it, you can tell, but it's dry as a bone. And this is our culprit. And then just take your finger and we're going to fill all the splines up with this stuff. If you buy the Ford grease, it's the same stuff. Be patient whenever you stab this drive shaft in. The tolerances are so close that the grease is actually making a seal in the splines here. So you'll have to burp this. So not much. Working on a small engine, it has a centrifugal clutch on it. However, as you can tell, these clutches are press fit, taper seated on, and they are a monster bear to get off. There is a special tool that I recommend getting. I don't have one, but I'm going to show you a trick to get these off that works 90% of the time. And I've got it, the old clutch, filled up with grease, and I'm going to hit it a couple times with an impact and see if it'll pop loose. Let's slide the old one off. We have replaced the electric clutch on this machine, and let me show you why. All right, so we've got the clutch installed, and as you can tell right here where the connector is right here, the old style Warner clutch, those wires just plug into the body of the clutch, and those are super susceptible to getting just ripped out and due to vibration. But as you can tell, it has the new style plug and the wiring harness. We've got it good and secure where it's supposed to go, so it doesn't get up into the hydro pulley up here, and it doesn't get into the deck pulley and belts down this way. Hey, good morning, Mower Medic One. Today we've got a little twin cylinder Briggs. As you can tell, it's running rich, and if you followed my previous video on the fuel pump issue, check this out. Wide open, but I wanted to just show you guys. Look at there. Let me smell it. Yep, that crankcase has got gas in it, and that's probably the reason it's running rich as well. Hey, good afternoon, Mower Medic One. Today's specimen is going to be this little Chinese aftermarket carburetor for a Briggs & Stratton. 9% of the time, the cause of the primer not priming is going to be this gasket right here that mounts on the carburetor. Or actually, this fits inside of your air cleaner base. Now, if you put it all together and you torque your screws to spec and you press the primer bulb and it still doesn't prime, one of two things is going on. The primer base, that the air filter that mounts to the carburetor, that's going to be warped from over tightening the screws. However, you can overcome that little bit of warpage by installing two of these gaskets right here. I've done that before and it works great. Hey, good afternoon, Mower Medic One. Today I've got a little aluminum cylinder head on the bench, and on the exhaust side I've got a bolt broken off. And basically I like to take my broken bolts out with a welding machine. You can drill them and tap them, but I've used this method a bunch of times and it works really good. So basically what I do is I weld me a washer on the broken off bolt. Now it could be down broken off flush, or it could be down in there. Well, what you do, you put your washer there and then you weld the nut and build that material up until you come up flush with the washer, and then I weld a nut on there. Careful not to try to weld into your aluminum. So let's get us a pair of vice grips, or maybe a wrench will go on there and jam. Now it's going to be hot, so be careful with this. I love this method. And I'm gonna weed eat, but I hadn't cranked my weed eater since last year. And let's go do a cold start on this, and let me show you what I use for fuel. Guys, whenever I store my two strokes, whether it be a weed eater or a chainsaw or my little mini tiller that runs on two-stroke mix, I like to use any brand. It doesn't have to be this brand, but buy this stuff that's no ethanol, and it's got a shelf life of just, it's ridiculous, the shelf life. Couple of years opened, and like 4 years not opened. Somewhere I was reading that, but I don't think it's on this particular can. So let's go ahead and see if this thing will pop off. Let's see how many pulls it takes. Okay, switch on. full choke, and full throttle. There's one, there's two, there's three. It popped off, it farted. It's ready to be put on half choke. Off choke. Let's just see how much it needs to be thawed out. He was putting the wing nut back on and it fumbled out of his hand somehow, and it fell down into one of these louvers for the starter. So we've got a wing nut hung up in the starter. There it is. Look at there. That's why the engine was locked up. He got lucky on this one. What's up, guys? More Medic 1 here. We got this big old hoss on the bench today. It's a Steel MS 880. The only thing we're doing to it is sharpening the chain. We don't use this saw a whole heck of a lot, but when we need it, we need it. It's definitely one of the largest saws that Steel produces. It boasts a 47-inch bar, hard tip, Rollomatic, or Duramatic, excuse me. 122cc two-stroke engine. And we're gonna do a cold start. See if I can have enough muscle to pull this thing through. That the exhaust side is super loose, and so is the intake. What is up, guys? Hey, today we've got a steel 4-mix on the bench, and I've been waiting patiently for one of these to come in with this issue. When you go to pull the rope, it is so tight and so much compression that you physically cannot pull the engine over. It's supposed to be made on to the cam. As we can tell, the little bump that opens the valve right before the compression stroke is still there, but the camshaft can't work because the spring that operates it usually fails, overheats, and then the spring just disintegrates. What's up, everybody? Mower Medic 1 here. Hey, I'm over here at my local Tractor Supply. Holy crap, you need to see this chainsaw they have for sale in here. Look at this thing. That bar is completely burnt up. And look at this. You gonna put this out here looking like that for sale? Look at this vibe mount. Completely stretched out. Somebody rode this saw hard and hung it up wet, I do believe. Feels halfway burnt up. I can't believe, look at this crap. Look at this crap. And this came from their factory recondition shop. Oh my God. I would be flipping embarrassed if I had that on my shelf. Even at the Mower Medic 1 shop. If I had that for sale, I'd be embarrassed. Today we are working on a 1999 Harley Davidson. It's a Springer Softail, the FLST. I'm gonna eventually upgrade my ultrasonic cleaner. This thing is perfect for small lawnmower carburetors, rider carburetors, but when you start getting into bigger four-wheeler and motorcycle carburetors, it just don't do it. Gravity flow your carburetor to bench test it. I'm gonna actuate the throttle and watch the What's up, guys? Mower Medic 1 here. Today I just want to kind of go over some miscommunication in some of the forums that I belong to on Facebook. A lot of guys are saying, well, my starter spins over and it goes halfway around and locks. And there could be several things it could be. You could have the carburetor's leaking and you actually hydro locking the piston. Could be the valves out of adjustment. And lastly, it could be actually a broken compression release on the camshaft. Today we're talking about these Walbro carburetors with the fuel solenoids. And we all know that a regular wrench won't go between the fuel solenoid and the bowl to get it off. So what do? You have to modify a wrench. Basically what I've done is I've gone in my tool stash over the years of tools that I have found at garage sales and whatnot, and found the thinnest one that I could, and it still wasn't thin enough. Ready for some two-stroke diagnostics? What's up, guys? Mower Medic 1 here, and today we have a little Toro lawnmower tractor that they ran the mower out of diesel and they've refueled it and it won't start. So what's happened is diesels are really bad about getting air in the fuel line. Guys, I couldn't believe how fouled out this NGK CMR 6H out of a steel 4 mix was this bad. They just scored me a lawn boy. Let's see what we got here. Yes, sir, Hyper Tough and a lawn boy. Let's see what we come up with. Man, these little old $119 Hyper Tough, these come a dime a dozen. You can get these anywhere. You can find these on the side of the road by the handfuls. But this, now this is something worth looking at. What's up, guys? Mower Medic 1 here. And today at the shop, we've got us a little John Deere Easy Track. And as you can tell, I've got this thing torn down pretty far. I had to take the seat off, and then this tray is just made of plastic and it's just held down with these little push pins, and yeah, every one of them broke, so I had to go get me an assortment of those. The old one is routed just like the old new one here, but I want to show you this. You see this little crook in the fuel line right there where it makes its transition, where this new fuel line is right in behind here where you can't see it. And when this fuel line gets a little bit of age on it, and that crook right there was enough to pinch off the gas flow to this carburetor. What's up, guys? Mower Medic 1 here, and today we're working on a steel 4 mix. I just got it covered up here because I went to lunch. But you can physically see how much of the camshaft is worn away. Model that has the solid steel drive shaft, and now all they do is put a square on the end to engage the gearbox and or the clutch drum on this unit. This shaft can be put in either way because the square is the same on both ends. But whenever this gets worn out and it looks like this, let's go to the other end. That square becomes round and just spins in the clutch drum. T133, this is the extendable pole pruner that has the little chainsaw head at the end down there. And the issue is when you give it gas and you pull the throttle, the head, the chain doesn't spin. We can see that the splines are just spun out. What's up, guys? Mower Medic 1. I got a little update on the Troybilt TP30. Honest opinion, they needed to put a bushing in here, a replaceable bushing, But in the new steering rack, they didn't do that. So let's go ahead and look at the new one, and I'll show you the extreme differences. All right, so here's the new rack, and as we can tell, it's completely built different. The hole where this goes is just completely bigger. And let me show you what they've done to help tighten this up. Let me compare the old one to the new one so you can see what I'm talking about. Quite a bit of difference between the old one and the new one. But what they do, they have got a stuffing block in here that you can now replace the phenolic, I guess it's just a plastic bushing that goes in here. And then the new rack slides in and out of this. So it actually has a sacrificial piece that you can now replace that doesn't cost hardly anything. And hopefully we can just replace this part instead of the whole rack next time. Until it's brand new. It has not cut one single blade of grass. Good morning, Mower Medic 1. And man, we'll tell you what, we're back at it on these 2-strokes again. I got a pile of them to do. It's way too close, and it's got a piece of carbon stuck right in the center. But guys, check out this freak show right here. That is absolutely the worst filter I have ever seen on a trimmer. Right off. Just a little bit at a time on both sides. Just tap your little tool there, and it will ease that seal right out of there. Our specimen is a FS55, which is probably the most common steel 2-stroke that they make. But check that out. That screen is just completely plugged up. 2 idlers in the middle, and it just goes in behind. Gotta make sure you get that belt in the right spot or it'll burn them up. What's up, everybody? If you haven't gone over to Steve's Small Engine Saloon and looked at his newest video, he is challenging you guys with a leaf blower softball challenge. I just happen to have a softball, and I just happen to have a leaf blower. Let's try this. Now that was cool.
Hello. Is it on? Let's bring him up without further ado.
What's up?
The Mower Medic.
There we go. What's up, everybody? Mower Medic 1 here. How are y'all doing tonight?
Guys, Mower Medic 1 here, and I tell you what,
other than the most simple repair video that I did the other day, this has got to be the most simple repair that I've done today. But check it out. Let's look further. I wish you'd look at that. A piece of carbon flaked off the top of the piston and lodged itself between the center electrode and the main electrode. On more, but this right here is the most aggravating thing ever, and it's the only complaint that I have. And I shut the gate. I'm going to try to treat this deck with some fluid film, and let's see how that turns out. I guess that fluid film kind of made the dirt a little soft, I guess, or it just cleaned it off while the mower was running. Pulley up to the engine pulley here with an idler, but this thing has got some weird idler system pulleys going on here. We've got an idler way down low here on the deck. So let me show you how to put this on correctly. With our left hand, pull this belt around the pulley and just let off the tension. And around these spindles, makes some pretty weird twists and turns. However, it works good. Hey guys, welcome back to the garage. Hey, listen, here's a little update on the little the Suzuki or the Arctic Cat carburetor that I was working on. This is a specialty screw extractor. I got this off the Snap-on truck. It's going to be very hard to find a conical fluted screw extractor at a hardware store or Home Depot, places like this. And there we go. That's exactly what I was needing right there. Alrighty guys, this trimmer came in the shop and it had a very bad knock, and I just wanted to show you the failure point. Look at the wrist pin. Saying that their transmission quit, and I don't have any forward gears, I don't have any reverse gear, and they want a quote on a new transmission. Okay, well, let me check it out and we'll give you a quote, but let's just, you know, just drop it off, let me look at it, and when you call them up and tell them that all it needed was a 40-cent part, they're like, what? And they're so appreciative. But let me show you what happens. 9 times out of 10, whenever a customer has a flat tire, where is it going to be flat at? It's not going to be flat here on the driveway. It's going to be out in the back 40 back there, or out in the front yard in tall grass. And let me show you what happens. So when you slide the rim off the axle, you have, see how easy that fell out? This is the key for this axle shaft. Rotate this around, and this goes in this groove here, and this key facilitates and meshes with the hole in the rim here, or the slot in the rim here. Now sometimes this key will be stuck on the rim when you take the rim off, and whenever they go to move the rim, or they throw the rim into the back of the truck not knowing that this is missing here, the key bounces and is probably laying in the bed of their truck. See how easy that falls out? Alrighty guys, so today we're going to be looking at this little Gator, and it's going to fall down all the way right here. It's going to want to walk up just a little bit, and then you're going to twist this around. But however, here's the beauty part of this system. Whenever you attach your trailer to it, you want to rotate the arrow to the slot here, or the channel here, because this is going to turn with your trailer as you're turning corners and such. Alrighty guys, I couldn't pass this up. I was repairing a unit this morning, and the customer said that he was just using it, heard a loud pop, and wouldn't restart. Well, golly. Transmission. But as you can tell here, this belt is loose as a goose. Alrighty guys, so basically what happens is you have a pivot point. This bushing here pivots inside of the idler arm here. It just gets sticky and rusted. So basically what we need to do, we need to drive this bushing out, and we're going to put a little slickum on it. Hey, good afternoon, Mower Medic 1. Today we're going to talk about one of my biggest pet peeves that I cannot stand are these plastic drain valves that leak. Every one of them seep. They may not physically just drip, but these are no good. The plastic ones, I think Kohler puts them on their engines, Kawasaki puts them on their engines. This is a far superior upgrade to the plastic drain valves. As you can tell, this one is a brass or chrome plated brass drain valve, and all that you do is it's got a screwdriver slot, and you turn it a quarter of a turn, and then you can drain your oil. Mower Medic 1. Today we're working on another Kawasaki, and here is the model and spec. The oil until it just basically runs over, goes down on both sides. The main issue is the breather cover gasket, and what you can do is there is an update kit for this that replaces the insides, and it comes with a newer style gasket. Of requests to do this video right here. Basically what we've got here is a Honda engine. This one just happens to be on a power washer. However, this can bleed over to Honda equipment. The lawnmowers manufactured by Honda that have a Honda engine, or if you have a third-party lawnmower manufacturer with a Honda engine installed. Basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how to correctly install the carburetor, and we're going to do the sequences of gaskets that mount this to the engine. I hope you enjoyed this little montage of videos over the 2021 year, and I'm looking forward to 2022. And guys, we hope that you have a safe holiday. Hope you had a good Christmas and a good New Year's. Y'all have a good rest of your weekend. Mower Medic 1. Catch you guys on the next one.